Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
Well, that's a little bit better, isn't it? Welcome, everyone, to Game Over Calgary. I am Peter Klein. Thank you all so much for staying up. I think a little bit late. It's not Ottawa late here on a Sunday night as we break down Calgary Flames' 5-1 win over the Senators of Ottawa. We'll be talking about mainly positive things tonight. This is going to be a pretty happy show as the Flames pick up a rather convincing victory this evening. But first, want to bet? Then get into the action on Sports Interaction. The boys of summer, get into the action at Sports Interaction. The boys of summer are back on the diamond and March Madness is on deck. Bet pregame, live in play, or on one of our many prop bets. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN, or in Ontario, download the app now using the QR code at the bottom of the screen. 19 years and older, please play responsibly. If gambling is an area of problem for you, there are links in the show notes to help out with that. Madhav coming right over the top, saying this is how the top 9 should be for I'm assuming this is for the rest of the year. Wouldn't change a thing. Left-handed penman sure looked good against a fourth string goalie. It'd be nice if Gibson could pull it together against the Preds. Yes, there's going to be some scoreboard watching the rest of the season now. But overall, look, to steal the TikTok audio, a win is a win. A win is a win. Is it against a team that's outside of the playoffs right now going into the second part of a back-to-back? Yeah. Was it against a goalie who has made 3 more starts in the NHL than I have? Sure was. Don't care. The Flames needed that win in the worst way possible, and they get that win with a 5-1 victory. And there are a number of different factors, I think, for this one. A, the team played really well. There was a couple of missteps in the first period, but after that, this team gave Ottawa really no hope, and quite frankly, gave the Senators no reason to really exert themselves after playing in Vancouver. And as they mentioned on the broadcast, this is a shitty way for Ottawa to come in here. They played in Vancouver yesterday, so you're flying Vancouver to Calgary, that's a time zone. And then we had the stupid time change thing. So we lost another hour last night. So these guys are dealing with basically losing 2 hours. And then they had to come out and play a hockey game. Oh, I just got the alert on my phone. Maud tweeting out, going live, come be sad with us right now. So sorry that we're ruining the fun night for the Ottawa Senators. But no, this is a quality team win. And normally this would be a night where it'd be like, yeah, you took care of business, you got the job done. Not this year. Not this. Are you kidding me? Who? Just raise your hands in the chat or whatever. Just make it yeah, no, you got me. When you saw that Ottawa's goalie had 2 starts in his NHL career and played in the ECHL this year, how many of you thought, oh, this is going to be 35 saves tonight from this dude, that this is going to break our hearts? Because that's 100% where I went with this one. And we've seen too many times this team lose to bad teams. We could go up and down the schedule of games. I mean, just 2 days ago, they lost to a team that they shouldn't have lost to in the Anaheim Ducks. And so that's been that's the bar's been set very low for wins that Flames fans can get excited about. This was one they needed this is one they needed desperately. Colorado is 7 points clear of the Flames, or was, for the last wildcard spot. I wouldn't be setting my sights on Colorado. I still feel like they have one last run in them, but we'll see. Maybe they're just kind of, to steal a racing term, conserving fuel before they get to the finish line of the Stanley Cup playoffs. But look, like I said, a win is a win. And for this team now, we are getting very, very close. And yeah, like Luke said, he did make 35 saves. The Flames, another one where they put 40 shots on goal. We are getting close to a point where Markstrom is the guy that you feel like you can count on again. It's been pretty solid now. Like the other night, you'd wished for some more saves. But for Markstrom, I think they said he had a .934 save percentage in his last 5 games coming into this one. Tonight, I said in the opening that the Flames didn't really give the Ottawa Senators a whole lot of hope for getting back into this game. Most of that is Jacob Markstrom. You have Brady Tkachuk coming in all alone, and Markstrom makes the big save, leads to a goal that gets disallowed, but still is a big one. It was, I believe, the second period. Yeah, they were that in the ice. So second period, the save on DeBrincat. Huge in that game. If he scores there, it's a 1-goal game, and all of a sudden you're gripping the stick a little bit tight going into the third period because we've seen that before. Markstrom gave the Ottawa Senators zero life in this game, and I think he was the big reason why. Because I think the Flames played pretty well, but overall, in the first period, there were some sloppy plays of the puck and a couple of really good opportunities for the Sens that could have maybe we've outplayed these guys and it's 1-1. Like, here we go again. Markstrom gave absolutely zero air to that conversation tonight. That was a great performance. And now it's starting to become a pattern, right? And it is. Like, I've made the joke a couple of times where this is going to be Fred VanVleet in the 2019 finals, but it's kind of like not on that scale. But this guy has been great since the birth of his child. And I don't know, again, who knows what goes on? These are all human beings, right? But this is the guy who Flames fans thought they were going to get for the entirety of the season. It probably is a little bit too late. It probably is too little too late from a Flame standpoint for this season, but it gives you more confidence going into next year with Jacob Markstrom. And if you're someone who wants to just completely blow things up, it gives you confidence that maybe you can raise the trade value up a little bit. I don't think that's going to be the way it's going to go down. But Markstrom is exactly what Flames fans wanted him to be now, and that gives you confidence going forward. It's going to be a lot of him the rest of the way. Personally, I would go Vladar in the next game Tuesday against Arizona so that Markstrom is ready for the Thursday night game out in Las Vegas, Nevada. But this is what you want from your starting goalie. Speaking of what you want, Jonathan Huberdeau gets a goal tonight. I thought he looked good. I mentioned with Julian in the last game that I was on here with, I thought that Huberdeau was starting to come out of it a little bit. One thing, though, and this is, pardon my ignorance on this. Normally, when you see center or wing or whatever, I tend to view I tend to view forwards as you're either a center or you're a non-center. Left wing, right wing, whatever. So I was unaware that the entire season we've been playing Huberdeau on the wing that he wasn't comfortable with. And by all means, chat, and you guys are great at pointing out if I miss anything. He's been struggling all year. It took us till fucking March to think, oh, hey, let's move him to the side where he got 80 goddamn assists last year. It took us till March. There's part of me that absolutely 100% believes this. There's part of me that's like, there's no way. I must have heard this wrong. I must have been seeing it wrong. It wasn't something I was paying attention for. I didn't chart a whole lot from Florida last year. So it's just like, oh yeah, he played wing in Florida, playing wing here. He's right-handed, so on the right side, whatever. The fact that this is a guy who was unbelievable on the left side last year, and for 67 games, they're like, you can play the other side. And then when it was going on a historically bad pace, then we decided, oh, yeah, go for it. Yeah, no, Amanda's right. It took Sutter till March. Is there a more Daryl Sutter thing than a star player who had 115 points a season ago, struggling all season, to finally 67 games in March be like, okay, yeah, you can go play the side you're comfortable on. It's so Daryl. I was flabbergasted. The gumption of that, it's unbelievable. It's hilarious that he had 115 points last year. He has not looked comfortable for a whole lot of this year. It's been getting there, but it's been slowly getting there. And we're just now thinking, oh, well, let's just put him on the side he's comfortable on. Really? This is, oh my God. all of those are going to be thumbnails for the game tomorrow. Although the one I have is pretty phenomenal. But like, God damn it, man! Like it is the most Flamesy thing this year. Oh well, we got to gel the line. Got to get these guys gelling. 8 games in. Oh, we lost a game. Fucking change everything. Oh, even in a win, this team finds a way to drive me up the fucking wall sometimes. Let's go into the chat. A reminder: like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you know when we're coming. But this is these are a lot of fun, man. Like I really enjoy it, and we want to bring more people in. So share, like, subscribe, all of that. Let's get into the chat. Matt C. Nothing like an embarrassing loss to spark this team into action until we play another bottom team. Of course, yeah, it's Tuesday. They get their first look at Mullet Arena. That one has loss written all over it, doesn't it? Like that just is screaming for the Flames to fuck something up. Amanda, as Alan Walsh said in his tweet, I saw that. Calgary left wing Jonathan Huberdeau scores. That is... Hubie almost point per game next to Backlund for a few games. Never went back to it. That one I kind of understand because Backlund is just a giver of all things talent. Like tonight, I mean, he gave us 2 and then 1. But he is... That line has been so good at getting guys going that I don't mind for a little bit that was kind of a factory where it's like, oh, you're struggling? Bring him on to Backlund and he'll shoot him out a quality NHL player. That one was just to get Huberdeau straight and let him kind of get back going. So this way now, like in theory, you have Huberdeau who can get a dude going, and I think he's helped Pelche, and we'll get to him in a little bit. And then you have Backlund, who has been able to really drive things. Now all of a sudden you have 2 lines where things are doing that, and boy, isn't that much fun. But no, I'm with you. Like I thought it took a while for them to mix that up as well. Luke chiming back in, it's nice to be able to laugh about a mistake like Backlund's giveaway assist for Ottawa instead of talking about how we lost because of one bad play. That is very true. And I've said before, to this team's credit, tonight they handled it well, but I've said before, this team does not handle adversity all that well. They handled it well tonight. As little as Ottawa provided, they were able to handle that. We had a mini debate about Milan Lucic, which I didn't totally get. AU's vlog just goes, Peter, with exclamation marks. So, hi. And that one, I think it's technically called like pray or praise or whatever, but it's 2 hands. I always, because I'm a Miami Hurricanes fan, always look at it like it's the U for the Miami Hurricanes. So that's what it gets me. Amanda says, not sure if this was answered before, but was there a reason we didn't challenge the Ottawa goal on the bad pass by Backlund Markstrom? Puck went out of the zone and re-entered, and Ottawa didn't exit the zone. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't believe it was brought up. I thought Giroux, with his hit, kind of held it in all right. So I don't know if at one point it was a Calgary person who brought it back in, which tends to nullify things. So, I missed that one. If that's what happened, I missed it. It ends up not mattering a ton, but no, I mean, that's attention to detail from Amanda tonight, so we appreciate that. The other one that I want to talk about here as we transition to what we in the business call segment 2. Michael Backlund was phenomenal in this game. And yeah, we like, the error is obvious. I don't know what he was trying to do, because you see on that play, if he's trying to bank it over to Uyghur anyway, Uyghur's basically covered. Like, there's a guy there anyway. Like, that was to steal a line from, I think it's Anastasia, the Disney movie. This can only end in tears. There is no way any of that was going to end up very well. But aside from that, once again, Michael Backlund, and once again, this show with me hosting turns into a Michael Backlund love fest. This is, I think, the best season Michael Backlund has had as a Calgary Flame. I think you put the C on him. I think he has been a tremendously valuable resource to the Calgary Flames this season. And Mangiapane's struggling right now, but he got Blake Coleman going for a bit. As mentioned before, he got Huberdeau going for a little bit. I think Dubé had a moment there. The best hockey Trevor Lewis played this season, and Trevor Lewis gets a goal tonight, but the best hockey Lewis played this year was on a line with Michael Backlund. This guy has been so consistent in a season defined by inconsistency, and now he's starting to put up the points to show it. He was once again phenomenal in this game, and I'll oftentimes talk about like players doing things to impact winning or have something to do it. He does like 3 or 4 things a night that are just, for lack of a better term, are just winning hockey player moves. And it has been such a treat to watch him this year. And I think even if you decide to go the blow it up route, right? Like if they decide, you know what, this didn't work, let's kaplowy and blow everything up. I think Backlund and Tanev are 2 guys that I think you need to keep around because contrary to what might be a popular belief, I don't think you can just go 12 forwards under the age of 25, 6 defensemen under the age of 25, and a goalie who's like 10, and be like, all right, well, rebuild's on. I do think you need to have some adults in the room. And every person that Tanev has played with has turned into a top 4 defenseman. Vancouver, it took them a while to find a guy to get Quinn Hughes back to where they thought they could get him to after they let Tanev go. And then they got that dude and traded him again, but that's just LOL Canucks. Unnecessary drive-by, but you get the point. Tanev, if you were to go the rebuild route, Tanev would be, I don't know how thrilled he'd be about it, but he would be such a valuable asset to be able to help nurture the next wave of Flames defensemen. And the same thing for Backlund. If you are going to have, like, it's probably not going to be Phillips, but if you are going to have, like, Zari and some of those guys up next year, I think you need a Michael Backlund to be able to help those guys out with. And so I have loved what Backlund has been able to do. Lieutenant Penman coming in. So you're saying Backlund should be the number 1 center. Maybe with Huberdeau and Lindholm, try and get a real number 1 line instead of this score by committee thing that isn't working. To be fair, it worked tonight. But I don't hate that idea. The one thing about it is like scoring is key. That line is also playing the top opposition on the other side all night, right? Like they are, and that's the other part of it. And I thank you, Penman, for bringing this one up. If that is your full name, but I thank you for bringing this up because it's something that I often forget about. They're getting some of the top defensive, kind of minutes for responsibility is the word I was looking for. They're getting the top defensive responsibilities on a night in, night out basis, and they're still doing that. So yeah, it certainly would help scoring wise. And I think Huberdeau, Backlund, and Lindholm would be interesting, and they'd also be all right in their own end. But I think you would then take a pretty substantial step back, and I don't know who you would put out there against a Stützle line. Not that you're slowing down McDavid, but against the McDavid line. On Thursday, I don't know who you're putting out there against Eichel, you know? So while this team needs work in scoring goals, 100%, I think that you would kind of be robbing Peter to pay Paul in that sort of a thing, right? Like you would just kind of be... I don't think you would get necessarily the results you want because you are now leaving a gigantic hole on the defensive side of things. One other thing I want to mention about the forward group before we dive back into the chat, although kind of hitting it just one by one in here. Pelche tonight, the Lindholm goal where he gets his 200th. Pelche makes such a smart move. Like they kind of mentioned on the broadcast, he does set a bit of a pick, but these are the types of plays that I think are so smart. You'll see a lot of times, a 3-on-1, one of the guys will do a net drive, that'll draw the defenders to them, and that either opens up a passing lane, it creates traffic in front, or whatever. Pelche looked like he was going to do that, and he makes kind of a hard break toward the front of the net, and that drew 2 Ottawa Senators defensemen up to him, and then instead of just going hard to the net, which wouldn't be a bad play, you know, like for what ended up happening, it wouldn't have made a whole lot of sense, but get to the front of the net. That's what we've been saying about this team all fucking year. I think that you could, in theory, see him do that. But instead, he's going to the net, and then he kind of curls up a little bit. And the 2 guys are already like, well, we got to follow this dude. So they kind of pay attention to him. That left that passing lane wide open for the pass from Backlund to Lindholm to finish it off. That really, I don't want to say put the game away, but at that point, it kind of felt like, okay, these guys are going to be able to do what they want to do in this game tonight. And I thought that was such a veteran play from Pelche to kind of recognize I'm going to draw 2 defenders here. And also, I think it's a note on Pelche that you have a talented team out there. You have, it's your power play 1 unit. In theory, you have like 5 of your most talented guys out there. And Pelche's drawing that kind of attention. Now, that might be reading into things too much. I don't know if they had, look, we have to pay attention to Pelche. Fuck Lindholm. I think that they had to, I think there was a little bit of just reacting like, hey, that guy, go get him. So I maybe like he's earned the respect. That might be a little bit much, but that was such a unsung part of that play was Pelche driving in to occupy two defenders, which opened up the passing lane, and then kaboomy. Great stuff there. Great stuff there. If you've missed any of this, these replays are up all the time. You do have to kind of dig for them a little bit, which is why we say like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell notification. The algorithm hasn't ever fully kind of recovered for us after some of those kids were playing video games on live streams they weren't supposed to. And so YouTube, once again, blowing out a candle with a fire hose, decided that all live videos we're going to fuck them around with them with the algorithm. And so that's been a bit of a challenge. So that's why subscribing helps. That's why liking helps. It keeps things kind of rolling in your, I was going to say For You page, but your YouTube home streaming and helping out your algorithm to know when we're coming up. But also, if you miss any of this, it's available in podcast form. Just subscribe to the Game Over NHL podcast feed wherever you get your podcasts, and rate, review, subscribe to that wherever you can. Let's get back into the chat. Left-handed Penman mentioning the back one up on the top line. Mangiapane, Coleman, and Lewis could be a shutdown line. It could, yeah. I have noticed I am not nearly as high on on Lewis as other people are. I kind of prefer him on the wing, although he scores tonight. I don't know if I'm trusting him with that type of a thing. Like it might work. And look, if you're looking to get goals, why not for a game, right? But I feel like right now the way things are stacked up, I kind of like how it's going. Especially with Huberdeau over on the left side now, which apparently fixes a problem that I didn't know we had for 66 games this season. But, no, I don't mind that. Good morning from Sweden. Good evening from Calgary. It's 10:08. I can say good night now. Good night from Calgary. But that makes it sound like I'm signing off. We still have one more, again, as we say in the business, segment to get into. But shout out Carl from Sweden with the good morning. The Swedes stepped up tonight in a big-time way for the Flames. Apparently, Amanda sending a message from, I don't know if they're in the press conference, but a quote from Daryl Sutter. Yeah, Johnny came in on the right side and buried it. Daryl Sutter, Huberdeau about to be moved to defense or goal in the next game. Look, it's funny. Like, that is... I think that's a bit of a self-aware thing where he's like, yeah, like this ended up working, but I'm just going to be kind of a shit about it. Like, I just think that's Daryl's personality. To me, there's been a little bit too much stand-up. There hasn't been nearly enough accountability taken on his behalf for the struggles this team has had this year, and I think there has been a little bit too much throwing under the bus for this team this year. But, isn't that fun from Daryl, I tend to just kind of roll my eyes at this year. But that is kind of funny. Also, Logan Gordon, who, by the way, is going to be on the show coming up on Thursday. I got Logo coming on for Game Over against the Vegas Golden Knights. Tweeting from Flames postgame, Rasmus Anderson on Michael Backlund. Bax is our leader. I would give the dude the C. Now, the last guy who I said that about got traded, but I would have... I would give him the C now at this point. Madov tweeting, messaging in, who would you take out of the lineup to add Coronado? Lucic seems like the obvious choice, but we know that's not happening with this coach. Yes, what I would do and what they would do are two different things. I think what will happen is probably it would probably be Dewar. If it were me, well, I would already have Lucic out of the lineup for Ruzicka, but that's not going to happen. So, yes. Again, I would have it be Lucic. I would love for it to be Lucic. I think that would make all the sense in the world. But it's probably just going to be one of the young kids to have him find his way in. So as frustrating as that is, that's probably how it's going to go. Just quickly, before we wrap things up on a solo episode tonight, one other thing I like that the Flames are doing a little bit more of, and it's something I've called for a little bit with this team this year, that blue line has so much untapped potential offensively. I really think that this is a group that needs to be used offensively more. We saw tonight, like Noah Hannafin, that the touch on that goal was great. And again, the offensive instincts to see where the defender is kind of creeping up to Huberdeau there at the blue line. Perfect touch pass from Huberdeau, and Hannafin with the nice read gets behind the defense and scores. It's those types of things. Anderson, I thought it was a smart move to not just fire one into the logo of the goalie on that 3-on-1 shorthanded, which, man, I don't have it written down. Penalty kill balled out tonight. I gather from seeing social media, that's just kind of Ottawa's get down with how their power play's gone the last little bit. But the penalty kill was phenomenal. But Anderson circling around back behind the goal and setting up a pass in front that Chychrun twerked out of the way. And Rasmus had another real good rush tonight. This blue line has offensive upside. Zadorov has shown it a couple of times. I don't think Stetcher's got a ton of it. Tanev, no. But specifically with Hannafin and with Rasmus and with Weegar, there is a lot of offensive skill there. And we're talking about adding goals, right? Like that's been a thing for this team all year. Get those guys more involved. I feel like there is at least another level for those guys to be able to get to. Left-handed penman, give him the C if he re-signs in the offseason? Sure. Yeah, 100%. Carl, Flames actually went to the net, and the hard areas tonight, yes. That's something that has been shifting a little bit over the last little while. That they have been doing that, and it has been working. So, yes, that I am glad you noted that, because I 100% agree with you on that one. That is going to do it for this episode of Game Over Calgary. Thank you all so much. It was a Sunday night against Ottawa. You had every reason to not, but you did. And so we greatly appreciate you tuning in one more time. Like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you know when we're doing this again. But I'll tell you when we're doing it again, and that's Tuesday when the Flames take on the Arizona Coyotes. We do this after every Flames home game, after every Flames game, home or away, even when they play Arizona. Audie's going to have you for that one. I get you again on Thursday against the Vegas Golden Knights with Logan Gordon. My name is Peter Klein. You can follow me on social media, Twitter and Instagram. I am at Primetime Klein. I have another podcast called Couch Potato Diary. Left-handed penman. Put a bow on it. Good show. Thanks. Yes. Audie has certainly claimed put a bow on it for as his own. He is much better with it. So I will bid you all adieu. Have a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you guys again later this week.
Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.